Let's talk about what took place last night. Officials saying a gunman opened fire inside a Midtown Manhattan office building and killed a New York police officer and 3 other people. Law enforcement sources telling NBC News the suspected shooter acted alone and died from a self-inflicted gunshot wound. The building where that shooting took place houses offices for so many businesses, so many that we know so well here on this broadcast, the NFL, as well as Blackstone, KPMG, and real estate firm Rudin. 4 senior law enforcement officials say the suspect has been identified as 27-year-old Shane Devon Tamara of Las Vegas. The gunman's motive not disclosed, but officials familiar with the investigation telling NBC News the suspect left a note at the scene voicing anger that his mental illness may be linked to his having played football. 2 officials say in the note the suspect wonders about CTE being a possible cause of his mental illness. A 36-year-old NYPD officer who was expecting his 3rd child was killed. 3 civilians also died. Their names have not been released. But this is one of those stories that hits so close to home. I've been to that building so many times. I was texting literally with a bunch of people who were holed up last night in the building as this was all taking place. It was a very scary and very sad day, and says, well, we could take this story into a whole about 100 different directions. So I don't know where you want to go with it, but it's
football and NFL, I guess. That no motive announced yet, but that seems like more than maybe a coincidence. And he had a history of mental illness as well, and was a football star at one point in either high school or college.
It does raise concerns about the safety of these buildings in New York City, particularly after the United Healthcare executive who was gunned down earlier in the year. Some issues around that, surrounding those things too. But again, it hits home because it's in the heart of the financial district here, and
I mean, it's Park Avenue. It's come straight to the middle of it, and I think that the murder last year that you referred to, I think, is a big issue. I think that the football piece of it is a big issue. I think the fact that he had mental illness and had a licensed firearm.
License to carry in Las Vegas.
License to carry in Las Vegas, obviously not legal here, but, we talk about mental illness. We also talk about, can you do anything about, making sales of guns, reasonable? You don't have to prevent people from buying guns, but when you have people who have mental illnesses, the idea that we allow people to get access to that.
Well, we're trying to stop that, obviously. But
I don't think we're not trying to stop it.
I mean, if you're going to go to that angle,
enough.
if you go to that angle, then go to the safety concerns about New York City and who we're going to elect as mayor. You'd have social workers rushing the scene to try to talk the guy out of.
We're not going to disagree about that.
All right, that's the other.
We're not going to disagree about that at all.
He's on record. Defund the police, please. So and with that looming in the future of New York City, it's not safe. It doesn't feel safe. Maybe it is. Writ large, but there's a lot of people, obviously. And
by the way, to your point, though, or a point that you've made historically, not in this moment, most security in New York City that operates and runs buildings, meaning in the lobbies of buildings, are actually not all armed. They're not.
No, but this was a police officer, an off-duty police officer.
No, I'm saying, but there's a question about
gun-free zones.
But there's a question about safety in the city, and you've often argued, I think, that you actually need more people to be armed.
Yes.
So that's all I'm saying is that's what I'm saying. You can take this conversation in 100 different ways.
Gun-free zones are kind of absurd because who is it that pays attention to the law that it's a gun-free zone? Law-abiding people and the people that are going to. If you're going to commit murder, you're not going to worry about carrying a gun in a gun-free zone or violating the gun-free zone rule. It's kind of absurd.
Well, no, and so there's a very interesting question about security of buildings. Do you want to harden those buildings in different ways? How do you do that? It requires a lot of training if you actually are going to put guns in the hands of security officers that are not police officers or former police officers. It's intractable. It's an intractable problem that I wish wasn't intractable.
Yeah, but it is. Yeah,
I don't know if it is. I think it shouldn't be.
Is,
I think there's probably ways to do things
hardening things up. is probably what
I think you could probably do a combination of things. I think you could harden certain things up, but at the same time, I think you could try to make it harder for people with mental illnesses to get guns as easily as they do.
Right.
And I think if you can't think about all of the above rather than only one of the above, it gets very difficult, and that's why it's intractable.
You hear that a lot from Second Amendment. They always talk about mental illness, and then the left gets mad that they're talking about mental illness instead of just the gun itself. That happens all the time. It's like, oh, now you're going to talk about prayers and thoughts and mental illness instead of actually doing something. Like, I think Mamdani wants all guns gone.
Well, no, you got to do something. By the way, if you want folks who have mental illnesses that are on the street off the streets, you should also want them not to have guns.
I agree.
Okay.
I think that people don't.
So if you're there, then
that's what I'm saying. We're not going to get right and left, but you hear mental illness all the time. We need to do more about mental illness from the Second Amendment types that say, yeah, it's not the guns, it's the mental illness. So deal with that first. And then it's a circular argument. You get back to what are they doing with guns in the first place.
That's why you got to do it all.
Well, yeah, it would be in a perfect world. You'd want no one that had any, mental illness. If you're going to shoot someone, by definition, you're probably mentally ill. So.